If you know, you know. Boom! Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, Danny Savage, Draft Guru. Sub and subscribe. It don't cost a dime. Coming out with, I dropped some sleepers earlier. By the end of this, we'll be at 20 offensive tackles. So we're getting 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 in a below average line class in general. And that goes across the board. Offensive tackles, offensive guard, and centers. Wait a second. Gotta get all my paperwork straightened out. Wait a second. There we go. I gotta beg for money. If you ever see that on my channel, you never, ever, ever will. Ever. Nobody fucking asked you to start a channel. Why don't you just sit on the corner? Spare change? Spare change? Anybody got spare change? Bunch of fucking clowns in this industry. But now, like I said, man, we're going to start off with 16 to 20 tackles, offensive tackles. Number 16, Jack Nelson, offensive tackle, Wisconsin, 6'7", 330. He has over 50 starts. He has 50 starts to his credit. He has 37 starts at left tackle, and he has 13 starts at right tackle. He might even go higher. I mean, it's just, bro, I'm not lying, man. It is a below average offensive line class. In a pinch, if you had to, he's athletic enough that you probably could switch him into, guard. He's that athletic enough. But with that side, listen, I like my guards big, but they're going to look to leave him outside, especially at left tackle. But if he had to slide in, I don't have a problem at all. Next, it's this kid Quinn Carroll, bro, Minnesota. He's played some right tackle and some right guard for Minnesota. 6'6", 330. He had some issues with pass protection, so they slid him inside. But, we've had this conversation about Minnesota. Like, bro, he's a little bit also, I'm going to say, went under, how can I say this? He didn't get much coverage at all because every time Minnesota played, anytime anyone spoke about Minnesota, everyone spoke about Minnesota's left tackle, Arante Ezere. He got all the, glitz and glamour. But this kid, good size, he might have to get thrown into guard. And you can probably say that about 90% of this offensive tackle class. But like I said, Minnesota, bro, I do not know what the F they feed these people up there. I know there's a big coordination. A lot of, football fans like wrestling. And let's look at some of the talent that's come out of that state. There's a certain section in that state. I'm going to give you names of guys that legit came out of like 2 high schools It is insane, and anyone that's a wrestling fan will hear these numbers and their names, and it's I don't like I said, the people that settled in that area, that northern part of the United States, let's just say they're like not Italian or Spanish, or you know what I'm trying to say, they come from different, they have a different line of genes up there. Let's just say, and that's not derogatory. That's not a racial statement. It just is. They're just built differently. It's like the island guys, the Samoans, the Tongans, nicest dudes in the world. Don't get them mad. Don't get them mad. You're gonna have a problem. And yo, you can't hurt them, bro. You can't. But just the list from Minnesota, man. Jesse Ventura, Ken Patera, Vern Gagne, both of the Road Warriors, Demolition, Nikita Koloff, Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Sergeant Slaughter, Scott Norton, and I'm sure Nord the Barbarian. He was like 6'8", 3 and change. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and I'm sure I'm missing probably like 20 names, man. It's just the people that settled up in that area, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, they're just genetically bigger people than other areas of the United States. It is like, you know, is it a racist statement? Like, I'm Italian. We don't make basketball players, bro. We're not 6'10". We're not known for being tall. You know, I'm 5'10", and that's tall for an Italian male. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it just, it is what it is. But there's something in the water up there, and it's they just breed a different kind of cat. I mean, a couple states over, the Dakotas, Brock Lesnar came out of there, bro. Scott's the Steiners out of Michigan, bro. Look at this. Look at their children, even. Their children are monsters, man. So we got 16, 17. Now, hold on. Jalen Rivers, the U, Miami. This kid is, when I tell you, he is an underrated athlete. 6'6", 325. He had some injury concerns earlier in his career, and yet he still started 30 games at left tackle and 10 games at left guard. It's amazing, man. Probably, like I said, I know 99% of the draft dudes don't watch football, but like for the last 5 years, it seems like Miami has been, and I'm a Miami fan, they've been trying to push Zion Nelson down everyone's throats, and he just straight up garbage, man. You know what I'm saying? He just is. And this kid moved back and forth because Zion Nelson, man, I don't even know where he is now. He's probably going to trade. I mean, the fact that he has time left, which he probably does have another year left, he probably transferred to another school. But he's going to have to go down, man. I've never seen such an overhyped offensive lineman since, who was that clown? He went to LSU a few years ago, man. He was a big YouTube sensation. He looked like Rerun from What's Happening. He was like 6'2", 350, just a slob that just held everybody. And everyone was blowing this kid up like he was going to be the next Larry Allen. I'm trying to think of his name, man. I can't, to be honest with you. He went to LSU, and LSU was having major problems with their offensive line, and this kid never even started a game. It's pissing me off. the name is going to come to me after the show. Like I said, he was like the number one recruit for offensive line. He went to LSU, just straight up sucked. He used to want to wear wide receiver face mask. He like all this kid would. When I see like these camps off season with these high school kids, man, and like it's basically it's a holding competition. I laugh at them. I laugh kind of like I also laughed at 7-on-7 tournaments. I legit have seen champion 7-on-7 tournament teams that have won their tournament 7-on-7 go 0-9. Because what good is 7-on-7 if you got nobody in front of you or the defense? It's just ways to make money, build parents. You know what I'm saying? It's comical. The other night I was watching a mock draft and the space cadets that were in it, they were actually arguing. This shows you that people don't watch football. Number one, when they can't even say their name. And listen, I'll be the first one to admit I have problems with last names sometimes. But if you can't pronounce a top 5 pick that everyone's talking about, Victoria McMillan, there's an issue. But they were actually arguing that this offensive draft simulator, which probably there's like 10 of them, had one player higher than the other. So that person must be a better draft pick. Can you come out even more on here and say, yeah, I don't watch football? 805 Vaughn, boom, thank you for jumping in the house. But when you're arguing online about, but the simulator has so-and-so ranked higher, just get a neon sign light that says, I don't watch football. It's comical, bro. Legit comical, man. Comical. But Jalen Rivers, he had some injury concerns earlier in his career. He just has to stay healthy, and he's going to get a steal. Someone's going to get a steal with him. And like I said, man, it's this offensive line class. This offensive line class is brutal. I'm sorry. After maybe the top 5 picks, it drops off a cliff, man. It really does. But a lot of these kids, I say 90% of them. There's 3 kids in my mind, I think, that are 100. I take that back, maybe 5 to 10 that are strictly left tackles. Then everyone else has so much versatility, or not versatility. I mean, they played tackle, a lot of tackle and a lot of guard. You mentioned Dylan Gabriel. Now 105.3 is saying he's the most. 805 Vaughn, I swear, man. I have nothing to lie about, man. Nothing. Back in June, I dropped my top 10 running back list. And out of the top 5, my top 5 running backs, 2 kids returned. They went back to college for another year. And they are Nicholas Singleton from Penn State and Katron Allen. They got offered a bag, another $1 million, $2 million to go back to college. And you can't blame them, especially, and honestly, bro, it was a smart move with how heavy this running back class is. So I dropped that video in June. A week later, there's an article about these dudes in USA Today. I'm like, it's amazing, but I'm like, where were you guys a week ago? Anyone could look at my preseason list and then go check out Dane Brugler's preseason list and compare. Comical. But they're saying he's the most accurate quarterback. He is very accurate. He has thrown for close to 20,000 yards. The only issue is he's 5'10". He's not 6 foot. Listen, man, the height don't bother me. It don't. I mean, I always have Drew Brees. I have a mental block with his name. But Drew Brees, That kid was 5'10". He won the Super Bowl. You have to do, I would say, more rollout passing because, I mean, quarterback rollout, because a lot of times the NFL don't like short quarterbacks, and nobody really likes a short quarterback in general, because when you drop back and all your offensive linemen are 6'7", 6'6", 6'8", you can't see over them. And you especially can't see nothing like tackle to tackle, tight ends in the middle, going for a slant. It's harder for them to see. Do I think it's overrated a lot, them taking them? Yeah, absolutely. Because how many years we see 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" quarterbacks, and they're just straight hot garbage. Next kid, I spoke about him. I had him in my preseason. Jalen Travis, Iowa State. 6'8", 10-inch hands, 330 pounds. 2022, 2023, he started left tackle at Princeton. Yo, 10-inch hands. He's like, yo, I can make some money. 34-inch arms, jumps in the portal, transfers to Iowa State, and boom, slides right in to left tackle at Iowa State. The kid, okay, he's smart, which is good. Can't be an idiot. When playbooks are that thick, you know what I'm saying? So he went to Princeton. He's smart, which is a check mark. He has the size. You could even throw him to right tackle. I would like him to stay a little bit lower. And a lot of times when you get tackles that are too high, a lot of people I don't, because I mean, listen, a lot of it's genetics, getting, be able to sink your hips, but there's a million exercises, yoga, stretching, all this shit to get you more limber. Some guys are more limber than others. When you get really muscle bound dudes, they have a trouble being, sinking the hips, getting lower, but he does it. So, like I said, he went from Princeton to Iowa State, and he was the real deal. Next kid at number 20, and let me tell you something, bro. Like I said, I love the trenches. I love the trenches. That's all I watch. And this year is brutal. Brutal class, man. Brutal. All the way across the board, man. Left tackles, guards, and centers. I like about 10. I mean, I like about 10 kids. That's why 99% of these so-called draft dudes that sprout up in, March and April, they only give you 10 because that's all they can give you. But I give you 30 per position. Xavier Truss, Georgia, 6'7", 310. He's this year's version of Cooper Beebe. He's played left tackle, left guard, right tackle. He's played over 1,800 snaps in his college career. The only position he has not played is center. I don't think I've ever seen a 6'7", 310-pound center, to be honest with you. Usually they top out at about 6'5". You get a center that's 6'5". That's a big-ass center. But this kid is a jack of all trades, man. And bro, you're right there. What? Talking to my 100-pound killer. It's deep, breathing a little heavy. When you can do numerous things for a team, you're gonna get drafted, man. Like I said, here's a kid, bro, left tackle, left guard, right tackle. Boom. You can throw this kid anywhere except center. Don't be shocked you hear his even name in the third round. Don't be shocked. Don't. So we got offensive tackles 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We've dropped 20 offensive tackles. Brutal. Brutal. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 10 more. 10 more to 30. So mañana, I'll be dropping a few more sleepers mañana. That's tomorrow. See, I'm multilingual. I'm bilingual. I'll be dropping those tomorrow in 2 different videos of 5 and 5. And then the offensive tackles are going to be over. And then we're going to have fun. We're going to jump into defensive tackles. I've given you my edge class. I've given you my 30 edges. Tomorrow, I'll be dropping defensive tackle. I apologize. So today's what? Monday? Wednesday. Wednesday, I'll be starting defensive tackle. And you're going to see probably, with all said and done, 40 players. And then just to get it out of the way, next position I'll be getting out of the way is running backs. And you're going to see 40 running backs. So I want to get that out of the way so that I can go back to guard, center, linebacker, safety, corners, and then we're going to wrap up with quarterbacks. But I've said it all year, and it's amazing now people are saying it. It's a below average O-line class, and honestly it is. But it's still, I mean, a lot of depth players. Would you agree Will McClay is overrated? Very. Will McClay is DoorDash, man. He's not. I think we hired McClay when? 2016 or 2014? It was somewhere around there. But so it was the Johnny football. It was the Johnny Manziel draft. So I think it had to be 2014, that draft. It had to be. Because 2016, 17. It was somewhere around there. It was either 2014 or 2016. But long story short, since we've drafted Will McClay, we've hit on a couple offensive linemen. The only second-round pick we've hit on is Diggs, and he looks like he's falling apart. We've drafted a million defensive tackles that turn out to be busts. You know what I'm saying? Do I think he's overrated? Yes. But if you get Will McClay in a room with Jerry and Stephen Jones, he's going to look like, the best draft analysis ever, because they're 2 idiots that know absolutely nothing. They know how to make, millions. They're billions and be billionaires. But when it actually comes down to football, they suck. As long as the Joneses own this team, we ain't going anywhere. As long as they don't hire a general manager, we're never going anywhere. That's why this is a college draft channel. That's why I do mock drafts for all 32 NFL teams already. I've done 6 of them, 6.0, 2-round, 32-team mock drafts. This week I'll have one coming out, so I should be at 32-team, 2-round mock draft, 7.0. Dropped some sleepers. I'll be dropping some more sleepers tomorrow. I got a crazy, crazy amount of sleepers. I got a lot of Division III linemen even. And Robert C., thank you for jumping in the chat. Just when I think the beard can't get any better, and I joined live. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But we dropped 5 tackles this session, and so we're at 20 tackles. Tomorrow we'll be finishing up 30 offensive tackles, and then you can ask Kyle, bro. You can ask questions Well, you can ask anything, man. I can talk about anything. I really can. Like you can ask questions about anything. I'm not one of these channels that's going to yell at people for asking questions. I'm not one of these channels that are going to tell people to stick to the topic. I'm not. I'm not one of these channels that's going to throw a cash app up there, and unless you throw money, answer your question or mention your name. I'm not one of these. I'm sorry. You'll never see my cash app up there. Never. All I ask is if you like the video, sub and subscribe. That's it. That's it. You'll never see me. You'll never see me asking for spare change. Spare change? Nah, bro. I'm good. I'm good. So mañana we're gonna finish 10 tackles, drop some more sleepers. I got a monster center from Division 3 up northern, the northern part of the United States. The kid is a beast, bro. And at the Shrine Bowl, he was destroying SEC kids. Just shows you, man, if you can play, you can play. They will find you. Is this the man who wrecked the buffet at the Harrow Club this morning? Give those Irish hoodlums some drinks down there. It's an inside joke. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, man. But you did insult them just a little bit. You were out of line. A little bit, a little bit. So you won't block for me saying Dak is washed? Of course I'll block for you, bro. As long as Dallas pays me. You know what I'm trying to say? No, I would never block it, bro. I've never blocked anybody. Yo, good publicity, bad publicity, bro. You can ask whatever you want. People that block people, they're just because they can't answer questions. They'll like think of one topic in their head, and that's all they'll stick to. That's all they'll talk about it. And if you challenge them, then they get frustrated. You know, and they can't actually have an intellectual conversation without screaming. There's a lot of shows out there I legit can't watch because all that does is screaming for like a half hour, an hour, 2 hours straight, you know, and you would get PTSD watching a show like that, legit screaming for like 2, 3 hours. But when you're fighting over a draft simulator saying, oh, that guy must be higher ranked. This computer has the guy ranked higher. You're putting a tip on yourself that you don't watch football. Or when you talk about your team and you can only mention 2 people, you put a tip on yourself. Listen, bro, the draft is a 12-month out of the year job. Watching the transfer portal is a 12-month out of the year job. Can't just, and I'll debate anybody when it comes to the draft. Anyone. You know how many videos I got wrecking all your favorite stars, making them look stupid? When Ned's talking about our past draft picks, and I say, no, we should have took so-and-so. Someday I'm going to drop them all on you. It's not yet. Too early. I don't want people to throw themselves off a bridge. What's worse? Let's play evaluation. I could take anything, Robert. Bro, throw anything at me, man. We're adults. We can talk, bro. I mean, and even if we disagree, what's the big deal, bro? This is America. We can. I mean, this is the YouTube land. We can disagree and still be friends. Other shows, you disagree with them, they banish you to bogey land. I'm showing my age with that one. Let's see. Play evaluation. I would be honest with you, bro. I really got nothing against him. So I'm gonna, and I know he watches football. I give him credit. I know he watches. He does watch football, so I'm gonna say his music is a million times worse than his football evaluations. He just tries to get cute. Like if someone asks him a question, he doesn't know it, he'll say it. Or like when the if there's a draft pick that is not even in the top 2,000, he'll be like, "Yeah, that's a great pick. I've been watching that guy all year." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you was because you're the only person that was because the other 2,000 people no, he was only ranked like 800." But just listen, if you ask me a question and I don't know about the person, bro, I'll tell you I don't know. I mean, I'm only up to like 800, So and like, do you? I got. I mean, I can't wait for this draft to get over. I got all these, and then I take like a week break, and then boom, jump right in. Guru's tough. He could take a few comments, of course. Robert C. We got Steve O. Cowboys should draft Pocket Pool. Yo, Pocket Pool's a legend, bro. There's this guy. I'm not gonna get too much into. He's like 95 years old. Legit. Legit. It doesn't matter if it's 120 degrees or 45 below zero. This guy is a predator and he's out there roaming the streets, man. Yo, legit, it'll be 20 below zero. He'll have his pea coat on, a hat, and he'll be hanging out outside the bars. Dude's a legend. And the last I heard, he was still walking the streets. I think in the last few months, I caught a picture of him. Saw a flyer. Have you ever considered selling any merch for the channel? I do. I got my GWO. I got like a shitload. I got like 30. I got like 30 of those made up. Honestly, man, the people that come in here all the time, a lot, ask questions, I'll send them a shirt. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, I'm just starting out. You know, I I'm not, like I said, you're never ever going to see a Cash App. All I ask is people sub and subscribe and like the videos, man. But if you want to reach out, send me an email. I'll send you a shirt, man. You think he died? Now, really, I saw a picture of him. It's possible he croaked. The fact that he lived through the C word those 4 years, 5 years. I told you, man, I saw a picture of that predator like within the last. I gotta see them. I posted it though. But if he dead, if he croaked, it's amazing. That dude was just a straight up predator. Giants should have put him at middle linebacker, man. Him or Bonnie. Who'd you take in a death match? Pocket Pool or Bonnie? Who wins? These are private jokes, man. Listen, man, I thank everybody for jumping in the chat. Mañana, I'll be dropping 10 last 10 last offensive tackles and a few more sleepers. I got a crazy amount of sleepers. I got a crazy amount of Division III sleepers. I got a crazy amount of HBCU sleepers. Once again, I find it ironic. Jay Lombardi, boom! Thank you for jumping in the chat. Once again, I find it so ironic that it takes an Italian kid from the city to cover the HBCU so much. But I got a crazy amount of HBCU sleepers and Division III. So we'll be way over 100 sleepers by draft day. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in the chat, because we all know when you're rocking with the GWO, it's for life. Also, sub and subscribe. You got the Cowboys Up podcast. We got the Frisco Report Wednesday-ish, Thursday-ish. We got Cowboys Corner. He usually does Saturdays. We got Fifth Quarter Cowboys. He usually does Mondays or Fridays or Saturdays also. You got Cowboys Champs, says it like it is. 1980s Cowboy, bro, man. I hope you're feeling better, man. I know you under the weather, man, but we heard you, spoke with you Saturday night, man, and everyone, hope you're feeling better. But, 1980s Cowboys, man, he knows his shit, man. He definitely knows. He knows his stuff, man. And then we got Ishan, Hollywood's newest company producer. He's actually overseas filming. I'm gonna send him some rocked out pictures of me. I'm like, yo, what do you want me to play? I can do anything, man. I never met a camera I didn't like. Never met a microphone I didn't like. I actually got recruited to be a wrestler at 19, but I didn't probably look I looked decent, but I looked my best when I was probably like 25. But I had a bad back then. I was like, no, I'm gonna go in a different direction. It was a nothing. It was a small independent company. It was nah, wasn't for me. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. Real quick, with the one wrestling thing, and I'm out, like Kevin Nash says all the time. When you're a wrestler, you should at least look like you can beat up the people in the crowd, man. But unfortunately today, it looks like 90% of the wrestlers look like Abercrombie and Fitch commercials. But there's some, I'm into New Japan, man. Not some AEW is kind of rough. Ring of Honor, I like Ring of Honor. WWE is just, I don't know, man. I just can't get into it, man, as much as I used to when I was younger. I'll be honest with you, I watch a lot of old wrestling stuff, man. I'm a wrestler. I told one guy, one of my friends we do podcasts with. I told him when I know about football, it's nothing. I go, I'm a wrestling historian. You know, as a kid, man. I was in Madison Square Garden every month, man. That was WWF back then. WWF was just regional. It was WWF was New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Boston, Connecticut, like up in New York too, Rochester, Buffalo. That's it. It was wrestling was regional. And the best card every month was in Madison Square Garden. And luckily, God rest his soul, me and my dad, he would do whatever he had to do, to get those tickets, and we would go, bro. And I did the same thing with my sons. I stopped after they, NWO broke up. I stopped watching football for years, man. And then when my sons got older, they got into it big time, and my sons are into it huge, man, huge. My one son actually even wanted to go to wrestling school, and he's 19, he's jacked, shredded, and I'm like, nah, man, how about we got to get a college education first? You know what I'm saying? That's more important. That's what Jesse Ventura would say. Thank you, everybody that jumped in the chat, because we all know when you're rocking with the GWO for life. Yo, anybody wants a shirt? Yo, just hit me up. Hit my Twitter up, bro. I'm not out here to look nickel and dime people, bro. If you're not much of a fan, I'd be happy for you to wear a shirt. I ain't gonna charge you. See you mañana.